Can you believe the absolute irony of watching a defending Stanley Cup champion being forced to dismantle their championship core because they can't afford to keep their own players? Well, buckle up, hockey fans, because the Florida Panthers salary cap catastrophe might just become the Toronto Maple Leafs' biggest opportunity of the offseason. And all centers around one proven playoff performer who could be the missing piece to Toronto's championship puzzle: the Panthers' financial freefall. Let's dive straight into the brutal mathematics that have the Florida Panthers in an absolute financial stranglehold. After celebrating their first Stanley Cup championship in franchise history, the Panthers now find themselves staring down a salary cap nightmare that would make even the most seasoned NHL general managers break into a cold sweat. Florida currently sits a staggering $3.725 million over the salary cap ceiling, and while teams are permitted to exceed the cap by 10% during the offseason, they must achieve full compliance by opening night on October 7th. That's not just a suggestion. It's a hard deadline that could result in severe penalties if ignored. The Panthers' predicament stems from their commitment to retaining key championship contributors. They re-signed crucial players like Sam Bennett, Aaron Ekblad, and Brad Marchand, moves that were absolutely necessary to maintain their competitive core but have created this current financial crisis. GM Bill Zito now finds himself in the unenviable position of having to shed significant salary while trying to preserve the team chemistry that delivered their first Stanley Cup. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about a champion being forced to potentially sacrifice proven talent simply to remain within the league's financial constraints. The cruel irony is that success on the ice has created chaos in the front office, and other teams are circling like vultures, ready to capitalize on Florida's misfortune. Enter Evan Rodrigues. The perfect solution at the center of the salary cap storm sits Evan Rodrigues, a 32-year-old veteran forward who represents everything the Maple Leafs desperately need and everything the Panthers can't afford to keep. Rodrigues carries a $3 million annual average value for the next 2 seasons, making him the most logical candidate for Florida to move in order to achieve cap compliance. But here's what makes this situation absolutely fascinating from Toronto's perspective. Rodrigues isn't just a salary dump. He's a legitimate top-9 forward with the versatility to play multiple positions, the experience to perform in high-pressure situations, and production to justify his contract. This is exactly the type of player that championship teams are built around, and the Panthers might be forced to give him away at a significant discount. Rodrigues brings a right-shot presence that fits perfectly into Toronto's offensive system. His ability to play anywhere in the top 9 gives coach Sheldon Keefe incredible lineup flexibility, something that becomes invaluable during the grinding playoff schedule. He's not just a one-dimensional scorer. He's a complete player who can contribute in multiple phases of the game. The most compelling aspect of Rodrigues' profile is his playoff pedigree. During Florida's back-to-back Stanley Cup runs, he's registered 30 points in 45 playoff games with a +9 rating. Those aren't just impressive numbers. They're championship-level statistics that demonstrate his ability to elevate his game when it matters most. For a Maple Leafs team that has consistently struggled in postseason play, acquiring a proven playoff performer could be transformational. The Maple Leafs' strategic opportunity from Toronto's perspective, the timing of this potential opportunity couldn't be more perfect. The departure of Mitch Marner has left a significant void in their top 6 forward group, and GM Brad Treliving has been vocal about his intention to replace that production through strategic acquisitions rather than relying solely on internal development. Rodrigues represents exactly the type of addition that could address multiple organizational needs simultaneously. He provides immediate offensive production, proven playoff experience, and the versatility to fit into various lineup configurations. His $3 million cap hit is remarkably team-friendly in today's NHL market, especially when compared to the inflated contracts that similar players command in free agency. The Leafs currently sit $2.9 million away from the cap ceiling following their recent moves, which means they will need to create some additional space to accommodate Rodrigues' contract. However, this should be relatively straightforward for Treliving to accomplish through minor roster adjustments or by utilizing performance bonuses and buried contracts. More importantly, acquiring Rodrigues wouldn't just fill a roster spot. It would add a player who understands what it takes to win at the highest level. His championship experience with Florida could provide invaluable leadership and mentorship, for Toronto's younger players, while contributing meaningful production on the ice. The competitive marketplace, the Maple Leafs aren't operating in a vacuum when it comes to pursuing Rodrigues. According to reports from Dan Rosen of NHL.com and the fourth period, multiple teams are already expressing interest in the versatile forward. The Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks, and Minnesota Wild have all been mentioned as potential suitors, creating a competitive marketplace that could drive up the asking price. This competition adds urgency to Toronto's pursuit while also potentially working in their favor. If the Panthers are truly forced to move Rodrigues due to cap constraints, they may not have the luxury of conducting a lengthy bidding war. The October 7th deadline creates pressure that could force Florida to accept the best available offer rather than holding out for maximum value. The key for Toronto will be structuring a proposal that provides immediate value to the Panthers while not overpaying for what is essentially a cap-clearing move. This could involve taking on additional salary, providing roster players who can contribute immediately, or offering draft picks that help replenish Florida's prospect pipeline. The Matthew Tkachuk wild card, one crucial factor that could temporarily delay any potential trade, is Matthew Tkachuk's injury status. If the Panthers place their star forward on long-term injured reserve to start the season, it would provide short-term cap relief that might allow them to keep Rodrigues temporarily. However, this would only be a band-aid solution. Once Tkachuk returns to health, Florida would once again need to shed salary to maintain cap compliance. By that point in the season, the trade market dynamics could be completely different, and the Panthers might not be forced to accept a purely cap-clearing deal. This creates an interesting strategic consideration for both teams. The Leafs might prefer to act quickly before Florida finds alternative solutions, while the Panthers might be hoping that Tkachuk's injury status provides them with additional negotiating leverage. The broader implications of this potential trade represents more than just a simple roster move. It's a microcosm of the modern NHL salary cap realities. The Panthers situation demonstrates how quickly financial constraints can force championship teams to make difficult decisions, while Toronto's opportunity highlights the importance of maintaining cap flexibility to capitalize on other teams' misfortunes. For the Maple Leafs, successfully acquiring Rodrigues would represent a significant step forward in their retooling efforts. It would demonstrate that they can be opportunistic in the trade market, while adding the type of experienced, productive player that championship teams require. The irony is palpable. A team that just won the Stanley Cup being forced to dismantle their roster due to salary cap constraints, while a team that has consistently fallen short in the playoffs positions itself to acquire proven championship talent at a potential discount. The timeline pressure of the October 7th deadline creates a ticking clock that benefits potential trading partners, while putting enormous pressure on the Panthers front office. Every day that passes without a resolution increases the urgency and potentially decreases Florida's negotiating position. This time pressure could work strongly in Toronto's favor, especially if they're prepared to act quickly with a reasonable offer. The Panthers may find themselves in a position where they need to accept the best available deal rather than waiting for their ideal package. For trail living in the Maple Leafs, this represents exactly the type of market inefficiency that smart general managers can exploit. By being prepared to act decisively while other teams hesitate, they could secure a valuable addition at a fraction of its true market value. Conclusion: a championship caliber opportunity. The potential acquisition of Evan Rodrigues represents everything the Maple Leafs should be pursuing in their quest to build a championship caliber roster. He brings proven playoff production, versatility, leadership, and a team-friendly contract, all wrapped up in a package that the Panthers may be forced to move due to circumstances beyond their control. This situation perfectly illustrates the strategic importance of maintaining salary cap flexibility and being prepared to capitalize on other teams' financial constraints. If Toronto can successfully navigate this opportunity, they'll not only address their immediate need for top six scoring, but also demonstrate their ability to make the type of shrewd moves that championship teams require. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining whether this potential marriage becomes reality or remains just another what-if scenario. What do you think, Leafs Nation? Should Toronto aggressively pursue Rodrigues? Or would you prefer they target other options? Do you believe his playoff experience could be the missing ingredient for Toronto's championship aspirations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button. if you want more insider analysis on the Leafs championship pursuit.